Hi folks, it's John Nizman from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you another update. This is on the 1958 Chevrolet Impala. In previous videos we've kind of given you snippets all the way along with work on the engine, transmission, frame and body. So now we're just going to focus on some of the reassembly on the chassis and driveline. So we're really happy with these valve covers. These are an aftermarket valve cover that we just, our client was able to find them and we purchased them in the US and brought them here into Canada. We made all the arrangements through brokerage and so on to have it arrive at our shop. These are extremely well made. So these are a really heavy cast. It has the correct, period correct Chevrolet insignia with some ribbing. There's different ways to buy these valve covers. I think you probably see it better this way. We'll tilt it like that maybe with the camera. So there's several different ways to buy these. This is the least expensive way when you go with the cast, and that's an untreated, unpolished, unpainted. And then we've put our own little touch on it. So you can see the outside here, and then when we turn it around, you can see the stamping. It has serial numbers. It's made by PLM is the production company. It has the part number and then there's a production number on it. So very, very good quality. You can see the notch cutouts here and here for the correct valve covers. So these are very, very well made. And what we wanted to do to just kind of give it a little bit of character, so if we compare that normal unfinished cast look, that's directly out of the box. And then what we've done is with some special tools and equipment is we've converted it or changed it to this. And hopefully the camera can pick that up. So this aluminum, what we've done is we've taken the cast off of all of the ribbing and the lettering. So we've sanded and polished those ribs, and then we've used a special compound solution and buffing wheels, and we're able to buff that up. So we're really happy with the way that turned out. So we basically change, I'll try to hold them both up here, I think you can probably get an idea, from a just normal out of the box, and then giving it a little bit of character or a personal touch. We still have the option where we could paint the valve covers if we wanted to, but we'll share with you what it looks like on the chassis with the engine in place, because we made quite a bit of headway on the chassis. In our previous video, we shared with you where we set the engine. The engine block was set in onto the chassis. We had one head kind of dry fitted on, and now we've made some more progress. So you can see we have both heads and head gaskets that are new. They've now been installed on the block. The oil pan that we're waiting for had arrived. We painted it, installed it, and obviously all new gaskets. And then we set the engine in place. We also shared with you in a previous video where we had the transmission all degreased, cleaned, detailed, and it was ready. So now, along with the drive shaft, so you can see it's coming along quite nicely. The engine block is now attached to the transmission. The transmission is properly mounted into the chassis, and then we have the factory drive shaft with the new U-joints and everything is now installed. So it's coming along quite nicely, and then what we've done is we'll just set this on. We mentioned before where we had the new head bolts, ARP head bolts. So we are convinced that the ARP hardware is probably the best hardware when we're going to reassemble these engines. So with the valve cover on, this is quite an attractive appearance. And I neglected to mention the intake. We shared in a previous video where we degreased and cleaned the whole intake assembly, and we painted it the correct color, and now we have all new gaskets and installed the intake. We have the correct lower temperature thermostat in place, and then we've cleaned all of the hardware, and then we've set the Edelbrock carb that we had before, we've set it in place. So now you can see aesthetically how nice this is coming along. We're still waiting for our double timing chain and sprockets to arrive, but this is really coming together the way we envisioned it before. So with these valve covers, I think if the camera comes along the driver's side, you can see the contrast which looks quite nice. So you can see the new head bolts. I think probably the camera coming from the side is going to be the best way, because you can visually see the polished sections. Everything is kind of blending in quite nicely. So this is, as I mentioned in an earlier video, this engine is a 409 big block. So the car never, in 1958 Impala never came with a 409, but this is fantastic. I think it's really coming along quite nicely. So we have a freshened up 409 big block V8 with some nice period correct detail upgrades, a 4-speed manual transmission, a 12-bolt rear end, and everything has been redone. So other than the dust, it's going to look quite nice. So just want to share with you. So this is the 58 Impala, one of the many vehicles we're working on here at Last Chance Auto Restore. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.